Hi, my name's Tom Elliott and welcome to another financial markets update for Hodges Real Estate. Well, I've got to say the last month has been very interesting when it comes from the perspective of commodities markets. Now, this has a big impact for Australia because one of our most important commodities, that of iron ore, has fallen quite precipitously on world markets. In fact, the Treasurer Joe Hodges has blamed his problems with the federal budget on the fact that the taxes he gets from iron ore aren't what they used to be. Iron ore prices have fallen 35% in the past few months, and at the moment with BHP, Rio and Fortescue all increasing their production of the substance, while at the same time China is levelling off its purchases, it's hard to see iron ore prices recovering anytime soon. That is also one of the reasons that the Australian dollar has been relatively weak recently. In fact, just a couple of days ago it went below 86 US cents, which it hasn't been for quite some time. Commodity prices and the A-dollar do tend to move in lockstep. Another global commodity which has also fallen dramatically is that of oil. Now this is fantastic news for motorists. In fact, recently I've seen petrol as low as $1.22.9 a litre. What has been happening is that OPEC, which is the international cartel of the world's major oil producers, OPEC had a meeting in Vienna. And at that meeting, the big oil producers were simply unable to agree on production cutbacks. As a result, oil prices fell from around $78 US a barrel down to just 71, 72 US dollars a barrel. And some pundits reckon the oil price could go as low as 65 US dollars a barrel. At 65 US dollars a barrel, petrol prices here in Australia could fall to as low as $1.12 a litre. We haven't seen that for more than 10 years. One of the reasons OPEC can't agree anymore is because of the civil war that's going on in the Muslim world. Right now you've got one of the world's biggest oil producers, Saudi Arabia, actively funding the Islamic State, which as we know is engaged in war against both the Syrian army and forces in Iraq. This also makes Iran very nervous. So it's no surprise that when Iran and Iraq sit opposite Saudi Arabia's oil minister and he says to them, could we all agree to cut our oil production? They say, thank you very much, we'll think about it, and then refuse to do so. So the Middle East pain is definitely our economic gain because Australia is a net importer of energy. So iron ore down, oil prices down, the Australian dollar down a bit, but not as much as those two. And as I said, good news for motorists, bad news in the Middle East. The government is also in a great deal of confusion about the $7 GP co-payment. A couple of days ago, the Prime Minister told everybody that it was essentially off the agenda for 2015. And then surprisingly, Joe Hodges came out and said, no, it was back on the agenda, just in a different form. I've got to say, as someone who watches what goes on up in Canberra, it is not good. The government cannot get its line straight, and its purpose, its economic forecast, and indeed new taxes like the GP co-payment, you wouldn't know if you were coming or going at the moment, which probably accounts for why Tony Abbott isn't doing so well in the opinion poll. Interest rates stayed steady over the last month, good news for property buyers. However, in the last few weeks, the clearance rate for property in Melbourne has dropped a bit. Now, 2 months ago, it was around 73%. Last month, it hit a high of 75%. In the last few weeks, it's dropped back below 70%. The last 2 weeks, about 68 to 69% averaged over houses and units. Again, the property market is about to wind down for 2014. There's maybe a week or two to go of sales, and of course it doesn't tend to get itself back into gear until February, March next year. All right, thanks very much for your company this afternoon. Remember, if you are thinking of buying or selling a property, either as a home or for an investment, don't hesitate to contact your local Hodges representative. Their assistance can only be of value. Go to www.hodges.com.au. This is the last report for 2014. Thanks for your company. I look forward to talking with you again in 2015.